Guys, I need your help today because I forgot to do something that's checked my phone line. So if you could just call, if you guys could just call my call-in number, not to go on the air, just to do a phone test, the 1-888-465-2631 number. I just need a phone test. I usually do it before I go on the air, and every once in a while I'll forget. And I'm using my phone to stream now. So, not to go on the air, just to do a phone test. 888-465-2631. I need to know if I forwarded the phones to the studio here or if it's going to voicemail. Yeah, 888-465-2631. It'll let me know if the phones are working.
Call LaPorta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at LaPortaContracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest...
Steve Kane Show. Oh, great, thank you.
Sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have.
Steve Kane Show.
Don't forget, we offer the complete array of...
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Steve Kane Show. Hello. Great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone calling for the phone technical check. Here we go. It's showtime. It is showtime, people. Make sure you like the video. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show on the planet Earth. And that means the most pro-Donald Trump show in the known universe. Well, and even the unknown universe, because it's impossible to be more pro-Trump than me. Right? I mean, that's just the way it is.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We are here live with you Monday through Friday from 6 until 9 a.m. with overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week, midnight till 6 a.m. On, of course, you can listen to us on the radio on 96.9 FM, 95.3 on the FM radio dial, and, of course, our flagship station, 1470 AM. You can also listen to us on the iHeart Radio app and the TuneIn app. Those are completely free apps to download on any mobile device. And search for us by our station call letters WWNN. That's 2 W's and 2 N's. And, of course, I'm always live streaming in high-definition video on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig Show on YouTube, and my YouTube channel will pop up. All right, lots going on, lots to talk about. I want to talk here in the beginning about this business with Dr. Fauci and Jesse Waters. Dr. Fauci has demanded on television that Jesse Waters be fired on the spot by Fox News Channel. And I want to talk about this in the beginning because I believe Jesse Waters is in trouble. I'm not saying that I want him to be in trouble. I like Jesse Waters. People, I don't live in the world of wishful thinking. I live in the world of reality. And Jesse Waters did something that if I were with him that day before it happened and I knew that was coming, I would have advised him against it. We're going to get into the details of this. And this is also a big test for Fox News. Fox News is trying to bring back the MAGA viewer. That's why they fired Chris Wallace a couple weeks back. And the way that Fox News Channel handles this Fauci-Jesse Waters incident will be a test as to what's going on over at Fox News right now so far as which side are you on? Old liberal phrase. Anyone know where that comes from? But before I get into what Jesse Waters said and what Fauci said, Rush Limbaugh, the great Rush Limbaugh, the legendary Rush Limbaugh, after the Capitol breach, I was listening to Rush, and I'll tell you, that last year of Rush Limbaugh, I think was some of his best stuff. I think the last year that Rush was on the air, I think his mind was the clearest. I think his analysis was the best ever. I really do. I think that was a great year. That last year he was on the air. But after the Capitol breach, I don't remember how long after. I don't know if it was the day after, the week after, even a month after, but it wasn't long after the Capitol breach. I was listening to Rush, and he made a very, very good point and gave a lot of great advice to all conservatives everywhere. And he said this, Rush, he said after the Capitol breach, Rush said, now we are all being monitored, we are all being listened to, we all have to be very careful because anything we say will be taken and used against us. That's basically it. Even if the context is appropriate, they will take it out of context and use it to cancel you. And that's a reality. MAGA people have to be, that's what Rush Limbaugh said. And if he were here today, I imagine he'd be saying something very similar involving this Fauci-Jesse Waters incident. I'm not saying that that's right, but that's the world that we're living in right now. And Jesse Waters went on stage at Turning Point USA, and I'm not happy with Turning Point USA. What they did a couple of things I'm not happy with, but I want to just focus this. I like what they do, and Turning Point USA is an awesome organization. But I think they need more adult-like thinking at the leadership level, behind the scenes. I know they want to look cool and hip with Charlie Kirk and everything because they're going after high school and college kids and trying to attract young conservatives, and I get that. But behind the scenes, there need to be some more grown-ups over there running the show and controlling what comes out front on stage, because two things happen that I'm aware of at Turning Point USA that are not good for the MAGA movement, and one of them is Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters came out on stage, and I did see this online after I heard about it. I went and watched his entire presentation, which I am not going to play for you. I'm going to play Dr. Fauci's response, and he references what Jesse Waters said that he says should have him fired on the spot for. I'm a fan of Jesse Waters. I remember when he was doing the Waters World on O'Reilly, he was hilarious. That man on the street thing, which is kind of like what Jay Leno used to do. Remember that? It was very funny. And whenever he does it, even still today, it's hilarious. And I do enjoy him on the 5. I think he's got some great points. I agree with him. I mean, I can't think of a time, other than this moment, when he used some phrases he should not have been using. I can't think of a time when I've disagreed with Jesse Waters. I'm not saying that I agree with him on everything. I just haven't heard him say anything when I've seen him on the 5 that I would disagree with. I like Jesse Waters. I think he's a very polished, talented television personality and presenter. You know, he was hosting the lighting of the Christmas tree on Fox News. Did you guys see this a couple weeks ago live? It was amazing. After that Democrat arsonist burned down the tree, the Christmas tree at Fox News, they had a special lighting up the new tree, and he hosted that with all the Fox bigwigs over there. And he did a marvelous job. Dana Perino disrespected Mike Rowe in a way that I'll never forget. But Jesse Waters was spectacular on that. He's very good, very polished, and that was a live broadcast. When he went on stage at Turning Point USA, he did a very strange presentation, and he didn't even seem himself. And I think a few things were in play with Jesse Waters. Hey, listen, I have said and done Many a stupid thing that I am not, that I wouldn't do again on the air over the years. Not for a long time, and I'm not going to revisit any of them. But I have. Hopefully these things will never happen to me again. But Jesse Waters went on stage, and if you've seen it, he didn't seem his normal self. He seemed a little strange. Now, Jesse Waters does not drink alcohol. I've heard him say he's never had a drink. He's like Trump, which is pretty awesome. But he seemed like he was high on something, and what he was probably high on was the crowd. He was high on the crowd. That's what happened to Sarah Palin at that Trump rally in the 2015 election when she came out with the funny shirt, and a lot of people said she looked like she was on drugs. She wasn't on drugs. Sarah Palin had not been in front of a crowd at a rally before and have a live audience that size in a long time, since the 2008 campaign, and the crowd is like a drug, and she got out of control. I think that's what happened to Jesse Waters. He's on stage with all these young people. He's trying to be cool and hip. It's not his normal thing, and he was high on the audience reaction to him. And he had a presentation that was very bizarre. I think, if you watch any of these Turning Point events, and I've seen people like James O'Keefe, they put on, some of these guys, they put on big, huge shows, some of these conservatives, when they go on stage at Turning Point USA. Jesse Waters does dance routines. Have you ever seen Jesse Waters go up there with the dance routines, or he'll bring up one of their insiders up on stage, and it's a big show that Jesse Waters puts on, and I think, I'm sorry, not Jesse Waters. I'm sorry, Project Veritas, when they go up there, James O'Keefe puts on dance shows and puts on a huge show, and I think Jesse Waters didn't really know what to do. I think he felt like, well, I just can't go out there and make a boring speech. A lot of these other speakers have huge presentations, they put on shows. James O'Keefe dances and has costumes and everything. I got to do something. And what Jesse Waters did was go out and give this, what he thought was an instructional, motivational speech on how young people, college students, are citizen journalists. And it's kind of a takeoff of what Andrew Breitbart used to talk about all the time. About how everyone with a cell phone with your video camera is a citizen journalist. And he was talking about confronting, when Fauci is in your town, confronting him with questions. And he figures he's at Fox, he's a media guy, he's in the news business, even though he's not a newsman, he's in the news business at Fox News. He's in news entertainment type over there at Fox News, but he's in the news business. So he's known for that man on the street thing, kind of like what Mark Dice does. So he thought he was instructing them on how to do his Waters World man on the street, Mark Dice thing, and he was just acting very strange and out of character. He made a joke about Fauci's height. He was standing next to the podium, and he said the podium, Fauci's about the height of the podium, which is probably the issue that really has Fauci pissed off at him. And then he was instructing them on approaching Fauci in person and asking him questions, and he was trying to instruct these people, not very well, on how to ask him a series of questions, walking him down what we call here on the radio the garden path. Sometimes you'll hear me with a liberal caller, and I'll ask them a series of questions, and before I ask the first question, I'm 5 to 10 steps ahead of where I'm going. It's like a beat walking someone down the garden path. And he really doesn't know how to do it. And then he used a phrase that he should not use, and that no one should use anytime, especially now in the environment we are in. Now, the phrase he used, it's not that he did not threaten Fauci. It was not meant to be a threat, and he wasn't encouraging anyone else to do it. He used a phrase that in normal times, prior to what the Trump derangement syndrome that the left are suffering from today, would have been all right. But in this day and age, it's a phrase that you cannot use because they will use it against you. So I just looked at the clock. I got to take our first break. When we get back from the break, I'm going to jump right into Fauci's response, and he mentions the phrase. and then we'll talk more about it. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Let's take that first break. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, Tom LaPorta here from LaPorta Contracting.
Welcome, everyone.
And building restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next.
Not meant to be a cliffhanger, but I got to take the break on time.
Types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors.
We can't live in fear, says the guy that doesn't even have a picture on his profile.
HOAs and commercial properties. Call LaPorta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at LaPortaContracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Well, when you're a public person, you have to be careful as to what it is you say. It doesn't mean he said anything wrong. It's like what happened with Lauren Boebert. You know, when you're a public person, okay, it's not like, you know, somebody at work or at home or talking to your friends. When you're a public person and you're doing a conservative, highly rated television show, or you're doing a radio show on a whole bunch of radio stations like this, you've got to choose your words carefully, because like Rush said, the left are always listening, always monitoring, and looking for something to use against you. And they take a comment out of context, like they're doing with Jesse Waters, and boom, you're done. So, you know, that's something you got to understand.
That $69 price is just for Steve Kane Show listeners. You got to mention that, and it's that little finger test. You get it real quick. I'll tell you, anytime somebody has any type of congestion, all of a sudden there's anxiety sets in, not just for them, but everybody around them. It's best just to go in and get the test. Say, I don't have the COVID. You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with all the wonder.
And they give you a piece of paper. Yesterday, I actually walked around with it. When people heard, you know, you don't sound so good, I take out that piece of paper and said, I was tested right here, and I pick up the piece of paper and showed it to them that says negative. And
Any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs, they're good people, and we're very lucky to have them.
They're very caring and full of information.
First, we had a doctor recommendation from Dr. Mitch Matez. Now we have a rabbi. Rabbi recommended any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs for your.
I love the brave people that have no profile photographs, telling everybody else to be brave, right? While they're hiding their identity.
Rabbi David for COVID testing, rapid coronavirus testing at just $69. But you have to mention you heard them on the radio. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Their number 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza where the Western Beef is. Their number 561-237-5009. Make sure you mention you heard them on the radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just look.
All right, 20 minutes after. Okay, so let me play Dr. Fauci. This is Fauci. He was on television yesterday saying that Jesse Waters should be fired on the spot. He was asked about it by the person interviewing him, and then here's Fauci's response, and it goes through everything.
John, that's horrible. I mean, that just is such a reflection of the craziness that goes on in society. The only thing that I have ever done throughout these 2 years is to encourage people to practice good public health practices, to get vaccinated, to be careful in public settings, to wear a mask. And for that, you have some guy out there saying that people should be giving me a kill shot to ambush me. I mean, what kind of craziness is there in society these days? That's awful that he said that. And he's going to go very likely unaccountable. I mean, whatever network he's on is not going to do anything for him. I mean, that's crazy. The guy should be fired on the spot.
Okay, he should be fired on the spot. Jesse's in big trouble. Obviously, what he said was not meant in a violent way. He was using it, talking about asking a series of questions and then ending with the big question at the end. And, you know, when you're walking someone down the garden path of questions, you'll hear me do this with callers sometimes. You know, the question is a question that they have no answer to without, it's a catch-22. No matter what they say, they're in trouble. And that's what he was doing. It was not a call for violence. It wasn't a violent comment. It was figuratively about a series of questions Jesse Waters was talking about. Everyone knows this, including Dr. Fauci. Now, the reason I think that Jesse Waters is in big, big trouble, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an apology. Has he done it already? I wouldn't be surprised if we see an apology. Wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden Jesse's on vacation till the new year. Okay? There was an incident recently with Fauci and Fox News involving Laura Logan. Laura Logan said a lot of people call him, what did she say? Was it Hitler or Mengele? Dr. Mengele, I think she said. She's been sidelined at Fox. Now, she may have made an appearance or so on Hannity, but I haven't seen her on any other programs since that controversy. Okay? So, her negative comment about Fauci got Laura Logan sidelined instantly over at Fox News Channel. So, this is going to be a test and a tell of Fox News Channel. They got rid of Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace was fired from Fox News because Fox News wants to attract back MAGA viewers that they've lost to Newsmax. They're seeing Newsmax TV in their rear view mirror, and they're worried. But just because the faces that you see on TV are not as many Trump haters over there, they still have Cavuto. Martha McCallum was a never Trumper too. I'm sure there's some others left, but Chris Wallace was the big never Trumper, Trump hater over there, right? Out of the closet Democrat, always defending Democrats and all of that. But their executive board still has on it Paul Ryan, and we know that the Murdoch kids and the daughter-in-law and all that are Biden people. That's why I think Jesse Waters is in big, big trouble over there. I want to hear your thoughts about this on the phones. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I don't want to hear if you think Jesse Waters, what he said was inappropriate or not, because it was. That's not up for debate. And that goes back to what I said right at the beginning. Rush Limbaugh said, you got to watch everything you say now. This was at the Capitol breach because they're watching, they're looking to catch people. Lauren Boebert made that joke about Ilhan Omar a couple weeks ago. It was a very funny joke. Nothing wrong with the joke. But she did it in public. She has a Democrat following her around that recorded it, put it up on social media. She got called out for it. And she got a lot of negative publicity. And I saw Lauren Boebert on Fox News with, oh boy, I'm sorry guys. What is the name of the woman who's on at night after Hannity? Laura Ingraham. She was on with Laura Ingraham about it. And Laura Ingraham told her what I was saying about it. She had Laura Ingraham had on Boebert and said to Boebert, nothing wrong with the joke. It was very fun, all that. However, the left hate you. They hate you. They're after you. They're always trying to catch you, she said to Lauren Boebert. So you don't want to give them material to use against you. And she said, you're new at this. And you really, and Lauren Boebert agreed with Laura Ingraham. This was live on Fox. Well, unless they do the show recorded. A couple weeks ago, this happened. And that's what Jesse Waters did. They're always on you. They're monitoring you. They're following you. They're always trying to catch you when you're a conservative. So you got to be careful. And I know I see people in our YouTube live chat. Well, is it okay for Democrats to do this? No, but they get away with it. We've got to live in the world that's real. Okay? And what Jesse Waters said was stupid, to use that analogy. I've seen this happen before with Republicans. After the Gabby Giffords shooting, remember what happened with Sarah Palin? Sarah Palin was involved in a campaign, like Trump is now, of endorsing Republicans running for House seats around the country. And she had on her website a list, and she used the phrase, a list of Democrats that they're targeting in the election. And after the Gabby Giffords shooting, within an hour, CNN and MSNBC were blaming Sarah Palin and telling her that she used this targeting and that she incited violence. When you're a public person, it's not like talking in your living room with your friends. It's not like talking at the water cooler or the coffee pot at work. You're being monitored by a lot of bad people, and they're always looking to catch you on something. Doesn't mean it's right, but that's the world that we live in right now. We're an oppressed people. When I say we, I'm talking about MAGA. MAGA conservatives, Trump supporters, are an oppressed people. We're almost in a form of apartheid going on right now. Hardcore segregation with Jim Crow-like laws restricting us. And Jesse Waters, they're probably already talking to him at the Fox News executive level about apologizing. I don't think he owes an apology. But Jesse Waters is in a position here. He's got a wife, and they have at least one child with his wife. Plus, he's got the ex-wife that he was cheating on with the new wife. He's married to his former mistress. So he's got his wife and child that he has with her. He's got his ex-wife with the alimony and child support. You know, what's he supposed to do? You know, I think that if they tell him to, he'll apologize. He'll try to walk it back. Problem is, when you're in one of these situations at that level, they don't accept the apology. What they do with the apology is the beginning of the end for you. What they do with the apologies is they take the apology as a confession. Like, for example, the Lauren Boebert, Ilhan Omar issue. Lauren Boebert called on the phone Ilhan Omar to apologize. Ilhan Omar ended up hanging the phone up on her because what she wanted her to do was not apologize to her on the phone. She wanted her to have a press conference and apologize to the Muslim world. And she said no, so Omar hung up on her. So what happens with the liberals take the apology as a confession, and then they go after you. They take it as a confession. You've dealt with them. They know you'll bend the knee, and then they work on you and work on you, and boom, next thing you know, you're done. So, I like Jesse Waters. I don't want him gone. I don't want him to apologize. And I certainly don't want him fired. In fact, I'll tell you, when I do watch The Five, I watch it for him. I like him. I think he's damn good. And I enjoy his analysis on whatever the issues of the day are. If it weren't for him and Gutfeld, there'd be nothing on The Five to watch. It's not the old Five, it's the new Five. I don't, especially Perino. Oh, I can't stand her. And the token liberals and all that. So, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I want to take your calls on this, and I'll bring up some other topics, too, as the show goes on. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie.
Steve Kane Show.
I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service
Steve Kane Show.
about called I Will
Hold on.
Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates?
Be right back, guys.
Helping seniors.
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients.
Someone said Newsmax will take him. These people have contracts. If they quit or get fired, they can't just go to Newsmax. Some of it's called a non-compete contract. Those non-compete contracts are 1 to 2 years long. So you can't go to work until that non-compete period's over. It's, you know.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954.
I'm not attacking Jesse, but what he did was ill-advised. He's very good.
Go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWE.
Alrighty. 34 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jacqueline from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Jacqueline in Indiana. What's up, Jacqueline?
Well, I'm 71 years old, and I'm really tired of being nice to buttholes.
Yes.
And
Yes, you can say that on the radio. You can say that on the radio. Not often, but I think one time's okay.
you know, let's go, Brandon. Well, you know what I like? I don't have Twitter account no.
Well, now remember, you're on the radio, so no more foul language, okay? That one was okay, but we don't need a list of foul language. I know a lot of people might, 71-year-old MAGA using foul language. It's so funny and cute. We're on the radio, so you know. But there's a difference. There's a difference between you and Jesse Waters, okay? Jacqueline, you're 71. I'm assuming retired? Semi-retired? You're disabled. Okay. Jesse Waters has a job that pays a lot of money. He's a very important Trump supporter. He's a very important MAGA guy. He's got a wife and family he's supporting in New York. He's got an ex-wife with alimony and child support. It's easy for someone to say, well, screw him, I would just quit. You're going to walk away from a job making millions of dollars a year when you've got alimony, child support, and a new wife and kids? It's easier, you know. It's easy for someone to say that's got nothing to lose. Because no matter what you say, you may get knocked off Twitter, but your Social Security, your disability, that's still going to come every month no matter what you do and say. You understand the difference? You've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose. And Jesse Waters does. He's got a lot to lose. It's easy to be bold when you got nothing to lose.
Well, you know, people are tired.
Yeah, but, well, there's no doubt about that. And I'm not agreeing. And listen, we're living, as this is this terrible world we're in right now. We're living in, and I hate to say this, we're living in Joe Biden's America right now, where they have total control. This is not the same country it was a year and a half ago. We're not as free as we were a year and a half ago. And sadly, people like Jesse Waters. I do not agree with this. I do not like this, but it is the world in which we live. Jesse Waters, you got to watch your mouth right now. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Well,
I mean, would you? What if you were? Are you married or are you widow?
I'm single.
You're single. Okay, you're single in 71. You're on Social Security. If you if you were going to lose the ability to pay your bills, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your heat, buy your food, pay your light bill, pay your water bill, and all of that, if all of your income would be taken away tomorrow, if you didn't apologize for something, what would you do?
I got on my knees one time and I'll never do it again. I'd rather die standing.
Yeah. Okay. So you would go out in the, okay, so you would leave your home, give up all your money and belongings, not have any food, and go out into the Indiana snow?
To me, than all this crap in the world. Thank you.
Wow. Do you believe that? Would she leave all of her possessions, go out in the Indiana snow, no food, no money, no future income ever, and be homeless at 71 and disabled? See, this is the deal. We need Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters, who's very good friends with President Trump and the entire Trump family, is a very important person to bring Trump back in 2024 and for MAGA to drain the swamp during these midterms. Some people if you're on hold, stand by. Some people in the chat room said, well, Newsmax will take him. It's not that easy. These people have non-compete contracts. The non-competes are a minimum in these situations that I've seen on Fox, a minimum of a year, sometimes 2 years. So if Jesse Waters quit or was fired over this, if he quit or was fired, he wouldn't be able to go to Newsmax TV for at least a year, maybe 2 years. If they even wanted him. But I'll tell you what, his ex-wife, who's pissed off at him for cheating with the producer that he's had a baby with, that he's married to now, still wants her child support, which is very high. Still wants her alimony, which is very high. And his new wife, the new young wife, his former mistress with the baby, oh yeah. She wants what's hers too. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
So, when Trump came down the escalator, he was the one that put the stop to this political crap. I don't know. I didn't hear what you said, what Jesse Waters said. Can you repeat it or no?
Not right now, because I talked about it for like 25 minutes, but I'll recap it as the show goes on.
Okay. All right. So if he does apologize, what good is that going to do? Is Fauci going to feel better? Is anybody going to say, oh, okay, we accept your apology? They're still going to hate him. They're still going to put him down. And so if he loses his job, I'm sure he can get another job. Even though he has a non-compete, I'm sure he has some money. But,
You think? He just went through a big divorce. He just went through a big divorce.
So work it out. Somehow he can work it out. But, to apologize to these people is ridiculous. It's what we are going back to now. Political correctness. We can't say this.
No. Wait. Listen here. I think. Slow down for a second. Slow down, Joellen. I'm not disagreeing or attacking Jesse Waters. I'm telling you that Fauci got Laura Logan sidelined over at Fox News just about 2 weeks ago. She made a comment about him, and she's been gone. They haven't fired her, but she's sidelined. She may have been on Hannity once or twice, but they're not using her elsewhere right now because of Fauci. This is a test for Fox News. They fired Chris Wallace because they want to bring back the MAGA viewer. They've sidelined Laura Logan. That story's kind of disappeared. If they do the same to Jesse Waters, we'll know. Paul Ryan is got a lot, is in with Fauci. So this is a test for Fox News. Are they MAGA or not? Or is it just a facade on television?
They're going to side with Fauci. Fauci's the most powerful person.
But do you watch The Five? Do you watch The Five? Okay, I watch The Five. Not every day, but I watch it once or twice a week. I like Jesse Waters and I like The Five. The only reason I watch The Five is for him. I really, Gutfeld is so overextended with his late night show. He's barely a part of it. And everybody else over there sucks, like Dana Perino, who's a Trump-hating Bushy, okay? So that show is very highly rated. They've got one MAGA person there, and his name is Jesse Waters. Are we better off with him, and this is what I'm asking you guys, are we better off with him if they ask him to apologize? Oh, I made a mistake. I didn't mean it. It was figuratively. I shouldn't have said it. Would you rather him do that, or would you rather turn the Five over to a bunch of Bushy, never Trumpers, as we're going into the election season?
Well, you can always find another. Well, not everybody watches Five, and you can always probably find another person besides Jesse Waters.
Yeah, but millions do watch the Five. So millions do watch the Five. So
sure, whoever watches the Five, okay, they agree. They agree that he should probably because they're sick as well of all the correctness and all the bowing down to these people. Jesse Kelly says, I am not going to apologize for anything I say. Good for him. And he is huge on the radio right now.
Yeah, until he does something. You don't hear me apologizing. I don't apologize either. When have you ever heard me apologize? I don't apologize either.
Kelly says.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Joe Ellen. I appreciate it. I think you guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying here. I'm a fan. My recommendation is always don't apologize. When the Lauren Boebert thing happened, before she apologized, I said don't apologize. Because once you apologize, you're done. What I'm telling you is that if you go and watch the video of Jesse Waters, he was not his normal self. Okay? He was not his normal self. He was weird. He was acting kind of strange. He was intoxicated by the crowd, and he got carried away. He shouldn't have said what he said. I wouldn't have said it. I think most people wouldn't have said it. Tucker wouldn't have said it. Hannity wouldn't have said it. Laura Ingraham wouldn't have said it. But he said it. And now he's got Fauci on his case. I don't want to lose him on the Five. Now, Joellen doesn't watch the Five, so she doesn't care. It's like it doesn't exist anyway. But I think Jesse Waters is important. It's important. And remember, after the first of the year, it's going to really start in February. When February comes around, we're in election season. Midterm election season. And if Jesse Waters, that the Five has millions of viewers each and every night. It's one of the highest rated shows in cable. You take the MAGA guy off and you have a bunch of never-Trumpers and liberals up there? Come on. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Richie.
By the way, Jesse Waters took Laura's place last night, so he was on last night, 10 o'clock.
Well, this just happened, though. This is something that's developing. This just started happening late in the day. It hasn't fully processed yet. And a lot of the Fox people are off for Christmas, so the management people that Fauci, what he did that pissed off Fauci wasn't about confronting him. He started off by saying, he was standing next to the podium, Jesse Waters, and he says, you go up to Fauci, he's about as high as this podium, and the audience laughed. Making fun of his height is really why Fauci is pissed. And Fauci, as crazy as this is arguably the most powerful man in the world. For the last 2 years, he has gotten everyone on this planet to do multiple things that we normally would not do. Exactly. And Fauci could make one phone call, which he may have already made, to one of the Murdoch kids or to Paul Ryan, and that's it for Jesse Waters. And I don't think we can afford to lose him.
Okay, it's water under the bridge. I think Jesse Waters knows he made a mistake. I don't think he'll do it again.
Well, the problem is this. Okay? Fauci went on television yesterday and said he should be fired on the spot. And if you go on the main corporate media,
we all know that he's the cause of this whole stinking virus. At least
number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Sole Authority. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Sole Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoleauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 8 before 7. Now, I will tell you this, and it's what I said, this thing about Fox. This is a test for Fox. If they get rid of Jesse Waters over this, I'm out completely. Okay, with Fox. Except for Tucker Carlson. I'm already on Newsmax 90% of the time anyway. But this is a big, big test. See, Newsmax TV is amazing. It's very good, and what they've accomplished is amazing. Newsmax TV, I subscribed to the Newsmax magazine, and I just got my first issue this week. Newsmax TV is number 4 in the ratings in cable news. That means they're beating Fox Business and CNBC. That's amazing when you think about it. That is absolutely amazing. All right? But they're doing it. They fired Chris Wallace at Fox because we're coming into the election season now. Next year is the midterm election cycle. Ratings are all-time highs during election year. They fired Chris Wallace because he's the reason that Newsmax is number 4. They weren't even on the radar before, and they're panicked because they see Newsmax using the same business model they used when they took out corporate media. Okay? But the question is, are they real or not about it? And that's what we're going to find out right now. We're going to find out if they're real to bring MAGA back or not with Jesse Waters. And the way they handle this, boom. My advice is always, do not apologize. They use it against you. The apology shows weakness and that you're willing to deal and that you'll take a knee. I apologized to someone once to be polite. This was years ago. I did nothing wrong. And but somebody, they were so upset they spent weeks being upset. And I wanted to make them feel good because I'm a nice guy. And I apologized. I called them up and apologized to them. They told me to F myself several times. And then they wanted an apology on the air throughout an entire show. And then they wanted to come in on the show and have me do it again. And then I told them to go F themselves. No way. That was it. And I said, I'll never apologize again. It was many years ago. I learned a lesson. When you're dealing with these creeps, never apologize. Without getting into the details, because I'm not, or tell you who it was, I made a joke on the air once. I'm not even going to tell you what it was. Oh man, I had one of the national groups after me. It was the first time I ever dealt with something like that. And they tried and tried to get me to apologize. They contacted radio station management and everything. And Steve told me the whole time, this was after this other incident, don't apologize. You know, and they were really heaping a lot of stuff on me. It was one of the big national groups. You guys, if I said it, you would know it. And it was a week. It was a week. And it was a rough week. Because they not only were they harassing me, they were harassing everyone I knew that they could find. And then they had a fake email campaign, a fake letter writing campaign. You know, people claiming to be longtime listeners don't even know my name. And Steve told me all along, don't worry. It'll be a week, maybe two. Say nothing. And sure enough, I didn't, and it was over. Because what these people do is they want the apology. See, the problem is, though, Fox News is liberal. So that's why Jesse's in trouble. I don't want him to be in trouble. All right, I'll take a call or two, and then we'll break, and I'll talk about some other things after the top of the hour. No, you cannot apologize. You cannot apologize. Mm-mm. But when you're going through those things, Steve's had this happen to him too, on more than one occasion, on different things. When you're going through these things, and you have these people harassing you, they get very thuggish. And if you've never experienced, I've experienced it personally. Steve has experienced it on multiple occasions. And they attack you, and it's all done personally and off the air in devious, nasty ways it's not fun. That you could not even imagine what it's like out there, guys. I'm telling you. It can be that bad. And sometimes people apologize just because they want it to go away. And let me tell you, Steve gives me a lot of great advice. That was some of the best advice he gave me. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. And they were going after him too for something I said. It was a joke. Very funny joke at that. No, I'm not going to tell you the joke or who the people were that were involved because I don't want to go through a week or two of that again. But it was, oh man. And my phone wouldn't stop ringing, non-stop. I got more emails than I ever got. I remember Steve did something once. We got 100,000 emails for something that happened with Steve. Oh man, they were on Steve. They want you to apologize. See, it's America. You've got free speech. The apology, they take it as a confession. And when you apologize, they take that confession and then they batter. It's an admission that you did something wrong. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, how you doing? This is Mike. I think from New York. I think Jesse's in trouble because when he said the typical mask you buy in the drugstore is not really effective in keeping out the virus, which is small enough to pass through the material, I don't recommend that you ever wear a mask.
What got Jesse in trouble is when he made fun of Fauci's height.
Did you hear what I just said, though?
Yeah. Who?
Steve Fauci.
Ah.
My God.
But you know, this is the thing with Fauci. No one likes Fauci. Listen, Fauci is like J. Edgar Hoover. How long has he had that job? 35 years? Something like that?
68 academic since the 80s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he did a great job with that too. Yeah. You know, how does someone keep a government appointed high-level position for 35 years through different administrations and parties that long? They're a powerful, connected, influential person like J. Edgar Hoover. And he's pissed at Jesse Waters. That's why people are thinking I'm a green. I'm not. I'm on Jesse Waters' side. I'm just telling you what he's facing. And Joellen in Fort Lauderdale can get pissed off all she wants. I'm telling you the reality. And oftentimes, the reality isn't right. It isn't just. But Fauci, he's had that job for 35 years. No one likes him. No one likes him. Even the Democrats. But it shows you how powerful he is.
And then he also said on Jake Tapper, he said that if someone in your family isn't vaccinated, you shouldn't let them spend Christmas.
Yeah, he's the Grinch. He doesn't like Christmas. He doesn't, but Democrats, see, listen, you know this. Democrats have complete immunity to do whatever the hell they want. Look at Ted Kennedy. He killed a girl in a vehicular homicide. And the only reason Ted Kennedy's still not in the Senate is because he passed away. Democrats, they're like James Bond. James Bond has a license to kill. Democrats have a free pass for life. To look at Joe Biden and all his corruption. No matter what a Democrat does, they are never held accountable. Ever. Conservatives are held to a saintly-like standard.
I got to say one more thing before I hang up, because I know you got to go to commercial break. When Greg, too, called you yesterday, I know that's not off topic, but I know when he called you yesterday, he said that I was crazy and that I lived right near your station or lived near your house.
Oh, did he?
Well, listen, I send you my year-to-day pictures of my basketball team, pictures of the Twins we just had this year. I send you my school. I send you little pictures all the time on Twitter.
Oh yeah. I didn't notice that he said that. Yeah, but no, Mike lives in New York. Mike lives in New York. Yes.
One second. Now, every single I coach Tony Soprano's children, Edie Falco, Kevin Bacon. I go on forever. But the thing is, I even have Stephanopoulos' little kids in this.
Oh my gosh!
Even though in 20 years coaching middle school basketball and in the phys ed department, did you ever hear someone ever say, "My kid is going to an Ivy League college"? No, they say, "My kid got accepted to Harvard. My kid got accepted to Yale. My kid got accepted to Princeton." I was asking teachers yesterday. So they said, anybody that says my kid got accepted to an Ivy League school, it's not possible. And then I said, Greg, you can cover the name of your daughter. I don't want to find out about her. I don't know Greg's last name. I don't know Greg. I said, put it on Twitter, just the acceptance letter, block out the name, and you'll get $500. Did he do it? No. And I told Al, if you can prove you have a job yesterday by 9 o'clock, I'll send you $100. I'm coming out Saturday morning.
Yes.
Wherever you want me to at the Boca Mall. Do it.
Yep. That's right. All right, Mike in New York. Take care. All right. Listen, we're late for the break. 3 after the hour. We'll be right back.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, folks. Dr. Matez here. Now with the
Wesley, $10 super chat. Everyone thank Wesley. Good morning, Brian. I still have a couple reservations about Newsmax. We cannot forget about Emerald Robinson and Steve Cortez and how they left. Do you have any updates on them? No, I'm not happy about that either. I don't know too much about the Cortez thing, but Emerald Robinson was definitely let go, and she was over this, and I was shocked that they got rid of Emerald Robinson. I was completely shocked by that. See, what happens... Well, hold on. The Steve Kane Show. Hey, Jeff. What happens... You gotta, this is the world we live in. Okay? The world we live in. Democrats can do whatever the hell they want. They can live the life that Biden has led and be in the White House. Okay? No accountability. Conservatives, and it has always been this way, always, even before Trump, liberals are held to a saintly level. That's the way it is. Okay? And you've got to be careful not to cancel yourself. And I don't want Jesse Waters working on the Trump campaign. I want Jesse Waters on the 5 every day, kicking ass and promoting Trump, promoting MAGA, and holding people accountable. You don't want to cancel yourself. Everyone thank Wesley for that super chat if you've not done it. Thank you so much, Wesley.
Receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
You know, when Trump is back in 2024, then we'll be back on track. But he's not. And we can't lose. Like I'll tell you right now, Bongino is going to be leaving his radio show. I'm going to talk about this on my podcast today. That's awful. We need Bongino on those Cumulus stations. Bad. Not some never-Trumper Republican.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call
Laura Logan is awesome. I think a lot of times people don't want to hear the truth. You know? You don't want to. I think some people just don't want to hear the truth.
That's 1-888-GO-CANE. 1.
All righty, hour number 2 has begun. 7 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Flo Rida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Oh man, our number toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. I'll take a call or two before we move into some other things. You're on the radio. Good morning, Jeff in Maine.
Hey Brian, you are absolutely correct and spot on about Jesse Waters and that 5 show and his Waterworld show. He reaches a whole different and younger group of people that will make a more impact doing what he's doing that than going on a Trump campaign.
Correct. I mean, you know, Jesse Waters, he said nothing wrong. But if I were backstage and he told me what he was going to say, I'd say, hey, you know, reword it a little bit. You know, and you know, but he was trying to be cool to the kids because it's not just college kids, it's high school kids. He was out there trying to be cool, and he said some. It's just like the Lauren Boebert issue. Laura Ingraham said, they're after you, they're watching you, they want to destroy you, you can't give them material to use against you. That's what I'm saying. I think Jesse Waters is as important. I'm talking about television people. I think Jesse Waters, I think that on television, I mean this, the 2 most important people on TV, I'm not talking about Fox News. I'm talking about the 2 most important people in TV news, Tucker Carlson and Jesse Waters. Tucker Carlson and Jesse Waters are the 2 most important people in news. And if we lose him and they bring in some vanilla conservative over there, that hurts MAGA. That hurts President Trump, and that hurts us in the midterms and 2024.
And I think Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens are very important also.
Yes, absolutely. And they hate them both. And I worry about the never-Trumper Ben Shapiro hijacking Candace Owens over there because she's been sidelined a lot by these never-Trumpers with Ben Shapiro with that new thing she's doing. But what Charlie Kirk is doing is amazing. Charlie Kirk, what they're doing is reaching out to the next generation of MAGA. And, when I was in my 20s and in high school, there were conservative Republicans. You know what we called them?
What?
Nerds and geeks. They were all guys. They were guys that couldn't get girlfriends, and they went to school in a blazer and a necktie. And what Charlie Kirk has done is made being a conservative cool. And Turning Point USA doesn't just reach out to college kids, reaches out to high school kids too. And they're very, very important. Yes.
What was that thing called in Arizona this weekend? They broadcast it live. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, that was their Turning Point USA event. This is what this is where Jesse Waters got in trouble.
Yes. Well, that's a very important thing. I watched that all weekend off and on, and I tell you what, they need to watch what they do with that Rittenhouse. I like the kid, but if he's not supervised, he's going to say something stupid and hurt himself again.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously we're supporters of Kyle Rittenhouse's acquittal, and what they did with Kyle Rittenhouse at Turning Point USA, I think, was ill-advised, and they were talking about this. I'm not the first to talk about this. He was brought. I saw him. I saw something on Twitter when he came out on stage, and it was Kyle backstage. Kyle Rittenhouse came out on stage, and they had a lighting show that looked like a Katy Perry concert, and he was treated like he was a rock star. And are you a gun owner?
Yes.
Okay. Those of us that are gun owners, the last thing we want to do is use our gun in self-defense. We don't want to ever have to do that, right? I mean, that's, police officer, hopefully, doesn't ever want to have to shoot a suspect. I mean, look at the officer on trial right now, Kim Potter, and how she had a breakdown, and I don't think celebrating someone doing the last thing that you want to do as a gun owner, as a rock star like that, is smart. Okay, you don't want to celebrate. We support the right to defend our lives, as Kyle Rittenhouse did, but you don't want to celebrate taking those lives even in self-defense. All right? Okay, and that's what they did. Kyle Rittenhouse is a good kid, but he's a kid. And I was doing what I'm doing now when I was that age. And oh my goodness, Steve will tell you, I did and said some of the stupidest, most ridiculous things. I didn't realize what I was, because you're a kid, your brain has not even finished developing yet. And I think that they're making a mistake bringing him out on stage like a rock star and giving him a microphone, because you're right. He already supported Black Lives Matter to Tucker, and he could say something, and that'll be to screw us.
Yes. And where is his parental guidance? Because we've never heard anything about his father, and his mother's probably.
Whatever you act can be seen by millions of people, because and what they're doing is they're trying to set you up all the time. And I don't understand why people are angry at me today about this thing with Jesse Waters and Fauci. I think what I'm giving is professional advice. And I'm sure Jesse agrees with me.
When the midterms come up, and if we do take back the House and the Senate, they need to be very respectful and show the American people something that the Democrats can't do, and that's courtesy, respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's so important for the conservative Trump movement, to be respectful of those other people, because I never used to be, but now I'm learning you have to be. Because if we're going to win anybody over to the conservative side, it's going to be through respect and honor. Be above them.
Yes. No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, Jeff. Oh, hey, Jeff. Thanks for calling. Jeff in Maine. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's the number. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
You actually have the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, which is 50% off right now with the promo code CANE at checkout. And you were telling me about your situation and how the MyPillow mattress topper changed your life. Can you tell me about that?
Let me tell you, Brian, I'm literally shocked. I'm normally very skeptical when I buy things. So I have 6 MyPillows, and then I bought the mattress topper. So about 5 years ago, I was involved in an accident at the gym where I was doing a pull-up and somebody actually jumped on me, which tore both my rotator cuffs, and on my right shoulder, it severed my bicep, part of my tricep, most of the deltoids, and there's a fine skin that goes all the way around your elbow joint, pretty much all of that. So my right shoulder is loaded with pins and screws, and so is my right elbow. And I can't really sleep laying down. So it's hard for me to sleep. I never get deep sleep. When I got the mattress topper, it has been the first time in probably 5 years. The first night I got it, I actually slept so well. I slept through boot camp and 2 clients. It's so supportive and so comfortable, and it eases the pain that I have. I'm actually sleeping longer deep sleep durations, which is imperative for, your health.
Oh, yeah.
That's
amazing.
Steve Kane Show.
That's amazing, Andrea. That really is. Now, listen, if you go to
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
click on the radio listener specials, you can get the very same mattress topper that I sleep on, the one that Andrea is talking about. It's the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell and MyPillow offer for 50% off with the promo code CANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879, 800-716-4879, promo code CANE, K-A-N-E. Yeah, that's amazing, and I'm glad we can help you out with that, and I'm sure it's been a big change in your life.
It's shocking. It's literally shocking. It's the best thing I have ever bought, truly.
Wow. Hey, Andrea, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Have a good day, Brian.
All right, take care. Wow, that's amazing. You hear that? First night's sleep she's gotten in 5 years with the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. 50% off with the promo code CANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. And again, you can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Comes in every mattress size there is, and it comes in a box that's perfect to wrap and put under the tree. You can also send it to the recipient of the gift if you're sending it out for a Christmas gift. But as you can hear with Andrea, it makes a great gift for yourself as well. Wow, that's an amazing story.
I'm not saying that Jesse should back down. I'm telling you what's going to happen at Fox. Want me to lie to you? All right, welcome back, welcome back. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, I'm looking out at the ocean. The sun is coming up over the beach. It looks really nice out there. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Before I go back to the phone, switching gears a little bit, I wanted to talk about the Biden presser yesterday with the fake questions from the fake reporters. It's supposed to be all spontaneous and everything. That press conference was the most uneventful press conference I have ever seen given by anyone who is in the White House. And I'm not saying that just because I don't like Joe Biden. I'm saying it because it's true. And my prediction on the program was proven to be spot on. You've seen in cities around the country, Chicago's the latest, where they're not just having mandates, it's passport time. To go to a gym, go to a bar, go to a restaurant, right? I believe Joe Biden, they announced he was going to have this Tuesday address a few days ago. I believe Joe Biden was going to come in with massive restrictions on unvaccinated Americans. I think we were hitting mandatory vaccination, or you're going to be segregated from public life. I think that's where we were going with yesterday. Because it came out from the White House over the weekend that the things he was going to announce was going to be some of the strictest. I was like, whoa. And they made that announcement like, I don't know, 3 days before the press conference. And they got so much negative feedback that they threw the speech out, threw the executive orders out, shredded them in that shredder that Oliver North left behind at the White House. But they were still obligated to do the press conference, so he came out with nothing. Nothing. So, I just wish we had real reporters. Real reporters. We had one at the White House named Emerald Robinson. She's gone now. Emerald Robinson was good, man. I don't know. Newsmax, I was talking to somebody during one of the breaks, and they said they're worried about Newsmax. And Steve Cortez left. I'm a little unclear about the details of that. I've heard mixed messages. But Emerald Robinson, we know why she's gone. And that's disappointing about him with Newsmax. I'm really disappointed in that. I really like her. I think she did very good, and there was no reason for them to terminate her. And she's missed. Yeah, I know. And a lot of people, if anyone from Newsmax TV is actually listening, I mean, I've heard from a lot of people lately that are very concerned about Steve Cortez and Emerald Robinson being forced out of Newsmax TV. Yeah. But no, Biden, they threw out the entire speech and they had nothing. So they came in with this very generic, vanilla announcement yesterday. That's what all that was. Pretty pathetic. That's what happened. But that tells me some good things. That tells me that most of the country are where we are mindset-wise, or Biden would have come out with these restrictions. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jack from Brooklyn. I have something to say about the water situation, please.
Okay, well, you're on the radio, so go ahead and say it.
I'm reminded of a similar situation with Jackie Mason and Ed Sullivan. A similar situation where the guy was, excuse me for my voice, I'm sorry, but Jackie Mason was pantomiming the way that Ed Sullivan was acting. And Ed Sullivan got so upset he just threw him off the stage. He didn't want to have anything to do with him. So it's something very interesting that the history way repeats itself. But I remember a situation like this that Waters is going through now. You can't attack somebody personally, and especially, like you say, a person in power. It will wind up backfiring on you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he said nothing wrong. Okay, what he said was fine. Now the media are going to take the clip, okay, and they're going to use the clip out of context. They did this to Bob Grant in New York back in the 90s. The great Bob Grant. You remember Bob Grant? You're in Brooklyn.
Watched him since 1970 when he first came to New York.
Yeah, Steve took me out to dinner with Bob Grant here in Florida once. It was amazing. I got to sit next to him all night. I had to talk loud because his hearing was bad because of the lifelong headphone. But Steve started out with Bob Grant in the 60s. They were very tight. But Bob Grant, they wanted to get rid of Bob Grant on ABC Radio, WABC in New York. This was in the early mid-90s. And he was a very funny guy, and with the political humor, one of the funniest. And they took a series of punchlines from jokes he made, edited them together out of context, and made it sound pretty bad. And they got rid of the legendary Bob Grant. We're in a different situation right now. Okay, this is not a free country we're in right now. It used to be. It's not now. We're in East Germany. I say East Germany, not Russia, because we're a country that's occupied by the communists, like East Germany was. But we have an opportunity. These next two elections with President Trump, and then 2028. These are very important. We're not free right now, and I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just telling you what may be uncomfortable for some people to hear. And we're coming up on January 6th, and this January 6th is going to be an insane day. Okay, there's two competing events going on. Nancy Pelosi is planning a memorial service on January 6th. We don't have all the details of it yet. You know, that's the anniversary of the Capitol breach, where members of Congress will be given a microphone to share the terror they felt that day. They're basically, you know, like on these 9/11 memorials, and the Democrats are in a position where they may be turning January 6th into a national holiday. I'm serious about this with this event. I'm not being funny. And our great President Donald Trump announced yesterday on January 6th, he's going to have a press conference at Mar-a-Lago talking about it. And that is going to be, I think January 6th may be a Thursday. That is going to be one of the most bizarre news days we've ever experienced. The mainstream media will not carry Trump in his press conference, I'm sure. We'll have to watch it on Newsmax, One American News, online. Maybe Truth Social will be running then. I don't know. But they're trying to outlaw MAGA. The Democrats are making moves. They've been doing it since it happened to declare the MAGA movement, separate from the Republicans, declare MAGA a domestic terrorist organization and outlaw it. And that's the world we're living in right now in this country. When I say we're not a free country today, that's what I'm talking about. President Trump isn't in power right now to do anything about it.
Brian, I appreciate what you have to say. I listen to you just about every morning from New York. You're a great guy, and you really have a lot of clarity and objectivity in what's going on in this world, and I want to thank you.
Well, I thank you. I thank you. Yes. Oh, man. I love all of our listeners, but our New York City listeners, he's from Brooklyn, but our New York listeners, New York City is the #1 radio market in America, #1. And when we have people calling us from New York, that's the second call today from New York. Mike in New York City, the caller there from Brooklyn. When we have people listening to us and not to one of the stations in the #1 radio market in America, New York, and they're calling us here in South Florida, that's just, that means a lot to me. It's just pretty cool. All right, let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, for sure, you know, that guy is obviously has some brains in his head from New York, and I know, as a New Yorker, everybody I knew was thinking straight, you know, but there's a lot of the Democrats in there that decide to destroy New York, unfortunately, and this is the scenario we have now. But, yeah, Biden, you mentioned yesterday. Biden turns around and says he's going to make 1 billion home tests. What a waste of money that's going to be. I'd like to know how much does it cost for a test? How much does it cost to analyze the test? What a waste. These people don't know what they're doing. They're going to stick a thing up their nose.
Well, a problem with that, you know, there's a big problem with Biden with his, how many tests? It was how many billions of tests? There was many billions. I can't remember. More tests than there are people. There's a lot of problems with that. One, you stated, you need to get a professional test done. And if it's the one in the nose, no one's going to do it right because no one wants to put anything in their nose except their fingers sometimes, you know, some of those people. No one wants to put that Q-tip up their nose. And no one's going to do it properly. And how do you even know that but how can you even trust that testing? You don't, the person that did the test, how many of them don't want to have a positive result? Right? So, so if the tests aren't going to be done properly, so maybe even on purpose, so somebody can get a negative result back that they can take to work or to the airport, you know, or something. You don't understand what I'm saying? And then another problem is 500 billion with a B, right? We're going to put the federal government in charge of this. They do so good with healthcare, right? How many people died at the VA? You know, we're going to put the people that brought us the Veterans Administration health system and put them in charge of this? That sounds brilliant.
They call it the Omicron variant. It really should be called the Omicron because the con there, I passed by the Coral Springs Mall, which we had basically nobody ever going there anymore to get tested. And I passed by yesterday, and the line was
People, I'm seeing so many people in masks now. Here we are in Ron DeSantis' free Florida, and I see, everywhere I go, I'm in the minority. I don't even own a mask anymore. And everyone's wearing masks everywhere I go. I can't wear one if I wanted to because I don't have one. And I know. And people are scared. The corporate media has them scared again. But I may hold the record for COVID. I've been tested for COVID more times than anybody else I know over at any lab test now of Boca. And that's where I got to get tested before I cruise next month. That's where I'm going because I want the test done right. Give me a break.
Of course, got to be tested right without a doubt. But all these people piled up again. Everybody's panicking again over something that you just get basically a bad cold. What's wrong with people?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Steve and I have lost 2 friends to COVID in the last few months. One, a very close friend you guys know about. And I've got another good friend and a listener, Sarah, who has been in the hospital for over a month. She's been on a ventilator for about 3 weeks now with the COVID. So it is, so that's, I'm not, and I've, Sarah's on my mind a lot.
Well, hopefully she'll get out of that as soon as possible. Because that's terrible. I mean, some people are getting it, and dying.
Yeah. I understand. I understand, but, and I know not, I didn't know anybody last year that died. I knew some people last year that got it, a couple people in my extended family. Somebody in my extended family that works in the travel business, got it and gave it to their family, But I didn't know anyone that died last year, and this year, 2 people, one I knew very, very well, that I talked to almost every day, died of it. So and it's not, it's not, and I see what our friend Sarah's going through right now, and it's not fun. Mm-hmm. All right, hey Doug, thanks for the call. See what I told you with Doug, the chronic? Always one more thing. Did you hear the one more thing? Gotta cut him off before the one more thing. My name's Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Brian Craig here. You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great job Tom LaPorta
Steve Kane Show
Contracting did on his new roof. We have on the line John from Wellington, one of our regular callers. He just had his roof repaired by LaPorta Contracting, and he wanted to share his experience.
Thanks to the Steve Kane Show, my roof repairs were just completed by LaPorta Contractors.
Yeah, please pray for Sarah. She's been on the ventilator, I believe, for 3 weeks. If it's not 3 weeks, it's coming up on it.
Told me that my roof was good and I didn't need a new one. I called many roofers and they were all scammers. They all wanted to put on a new roof and they said they wouldn't repair what I had. Thanks, Brian. Another fantastic sponsor.
Wow, that's an amazing testimonial from John in Wellington. Tom LaPorta at LaPorta Contracting will never sell you a roof that you don't need. Give him a call for a no-charge inspection of your roof. 954-604-4602. That number rings directly to Tom LaPorta's cell phone. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaContracting.com. Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to any lab test now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So do what I did. Go over to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 37 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Yes, Greg too.
Listen, you know what?
Can you put your mouth closer to the phone, because I want to hear your nonsense. It's hard to hear you too far away.
Nonsense. All right, you're already on the negative path, but that's okay. Listen, you know what? Your caller, Mike from New York City, and from that liberal mecca of the world. You know what he is? One word: trash.
All right. Now let me. Okay. All right. Now, excuse me. Can you call in and talk about something that is relevant, not yourself or me personally? Can you talk about the issues?
Let's talk about Jesse Waters, okay? He's fantastic. But you would be trashing him if he was a liberal, saying, oh, he cheated on his wife. Now he's got a wife with another kid. Look, you'd be trashing him personally if he was...
So when I said, you say I would be trashing him. So when I said that he is married to his former mistress, you think I was complimenting him? No, I think personally that's a very low-life thing to do. He is married to his former mistress, and he left his wife, who's the mother of his young children. No, I don't know. I don't approve of that at all. But I think I made that clear at the beginning. When I said it in a more clever way than you. I said he's married to his former mistress. Now, if you think that's a compliment, because it's a little classier than you. Ugh.
He left his wife, has another kid.
How many ways do you want to say it? I mean, I said he is married to his former mistress.
Conservative. You don't know what role he's playing on the TV.
Well, I've got news for you. I like the board of directors at Chick-fil-A, I am married to my first wife. But President Reagan was divorced and remarried. The greatest president ever, President Trump, divorced, remarried. It's a part of life. I'm not gonna. Can I finish my sentence? Well, of course I can. I could just hang up on you. Yeah.
Divorced, remarried, divorced, remarried.
Oh, see, I said that Trump was divorced. See how excited he got because he figures this is a time to bash Trump. I'm not gonna cancel someone. Listen. People screw up. We are all sinners. There was only one man who was not a sinner. You know who that man was? Do you know?
Of course.
Who?
Jesus.
Jesus, that's right. Everyone else is a sinner. I'm not here judging people, and I'm not going to cancel someone like the great President Trump or Jesse Waters, who's amazing, or the great President Reagan, because of a mistake they made. Okay? They're getting divorced and remarried.
How do you know what he's paying alimony? You said he's paying a lot of alimony and child support. How do you know that?
Because he is a national television personality with a massive salary, and he had an affair. So I don't know that. Oh, you think he doesn't pay any alimony? Are you kidding me? He's paying huge alimony and child support. I don't know what it is, because he makes a lot of money, and he betrayed his wife.
He might be a CEO of a major corporation.
Okay, whatever. Where's the part where you're going to talk? No, not another thing. Not another thing. When are you going to talk about the issues on the table? I've answered enough of your questions. I'm not answering any more of your questions. I've answered like 5.
Did you predict Fauci was going to be fired after this dog experiment?
Oh, see, now you're talking about me. Now you're talking about me. Enough. He's unhinged. Greg is unhinged. Everything with him is personal. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Rich from Jersey.
Hey, Rich in Jersey. How's it going?
Alrighty. Hey, check this out. I might be off topic this morning, but I'm tired of talking about Fauci. He's just the way it's in.
Yeah, I know.
He fired years ago. But anyway, my point for calling today. Yesterday, I had. Do you listen to what's the name? Joe Rogan podcast at all?
Not occasionally. I'll watch a celebrity interview he does, but
find the time in the next couple days. Watch his interview with Lee Remini.
I'm not sure who that is.
She was in a television show. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of the show for the life of me right at the moment. But she's an actress, and she was a part of Scientology.
Oh, Leah Remini. Yeah, I know who Leah Remini is, and I've seen. Yeah, and she had a television show about Scientology. I know exactly who she is. Yeah. What about her?
Well, I didn't know a whole lot about Scientology.
Oh, it's a crazy cult. It's an insane cult. Yeah.
Absolutely. But listening to her yesterday, now this is the interview is like 2 years old, 2.5 years old. But I just came across it yesterday, and I listened to it from beginning to end. And what she describes Scientology is she's describing the Democratic Party.
Oh, how so?
To a T.
How so?
Money. They want your money. You have to live by their rules. If you don't live by their rules, they cancel you. They exactly what they did to her.
Yes.
Because during her, I don't want to run on and on about something else, but during the reason why she left was the person who runs Scientology since L. Ron Hubbard died or whatever the case may be. Well, his wife has a certain title in Scientology, and she is supposed to be by his side.
Yeah, I know, and she hadn't been seen for a number of years. I don't know if she's been seen yet or not. Yeah, I know all about it. Yeah, I know you're a little late to the party on that. But she Leah Remini on A&E has had a television show that was a few seasons long, all about Scientology. I watched the whole first season, and it's frightening. You should check it out. But I appreciate the call. Oh, I had mentioned The Matrix, the new Matrix movie. And I watched some of the new Matrix movie this morning before I came to work because I'm a huge Matrix fan. I didn't watch it all because my wife wants to watch it, but I couldn't control myself. It's on HBO. The Matrix, The Matrix is about the Democrats. A lot of people don't know this, right? And if you look at The Matrix, this is true, okay? And there's this new Matrix movie out. I'm not impressed with what I've seen. But the Matrix, they live in this fake world, right? And Morpheus, to bring people out of the Matrix, offers them a blue pill or a red pill. The blue pill, you stay in the Matrix and live in this fantasy world. You take the red pill, you see reality and you're in the real world. That's why a lot of ex-Democrats, like Candace Owens, say I was red-pilled. You ever hear them say I was red-pilled? Sometimes they'll even tell you the year. The Matrix is about the Democrats. The Democrats are living in the fake computer world. And it's an interesting thing about the Matrix. It's very detailed about the Democrats. If you watch it, it's amazing. In the Matrix, I'm talking about the first Matrix movie, but the whole Matrix trilogy. What do you call it when there's 4 movies? A quad? I don't know what you call 4. They got this 4th. But anyway, the reason that the computer world kept humans alive in these pools of goo was for their body heat produced. That heat was used to produce electricity to give power to the Matrix. That's the Democrat Party. What are we to the Democrats? Humans, people. Do you know what we are? We are an organism that excretes money so they can spend it on all their crap. Just like in the Matrix, people excrete heat to power the Matrix, we excrete money to give to the Democrats to fund all their crap, to power them. And this is not a stretch. This is true. I'm sure many people have written and talked about this. I haven't talked about it in a while because The Matrix is a 20-year-old movie. But The Matrix is about the Democrats and the Republicans, the whole thing. The blue pill and red pill came long after the red state, blue state thing. And the producers of The Matrix have denied this because they don't want to be shut out of Hollywood. But it is very much... those that leave the Matrix are Republicans. Those in the Matrix are Democrats. It's very true. Very, very true. All right, let's take our last break of the second hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. Back right after this.
Hi, Tom LaPorta here from LaPorta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. LaPorta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. LaPorta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call LaPorta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at LaPortaContracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Steve Kane just had GoPro over at his house to trim his trees. On the line, we have Nathan. He's the owner of GoPro. He's going to tell you what he did over at Steve's house and why you should call him to help you with all of your landscaping needs. Nathan?
So the biggest thing we did over at Steve's house, his trees were all overgrown. You couldn't even see the house, the yard. The grass was starting to die because there was so much shade from the trees being overgrown for such a long time. So we came in, we looked at the trees, did an assessment, pruned them structurally so that way the trees are balanced and even to make sure that there was no possibility of them coming down in the storms. We did 2 Royal Poinciana trees, one in the front yard and one in the backyard. Also, one of the Royal Poincianas in the front yard was actually choking out one of the oak trees. So now by trimming them back, the oak tree can come back to life and provide a nice healthy tree for Steve. The reason why you should hire the professionals here at GoPro over the guy with just the truck who's mowing the grass next door is our guys are trained in the different types of trees and identifying how to properly prune the tree so it's structurally healthy, not to over trim them. The thing that we do over the competition is we make sure we do it right. Make the proper cuts on the tree, trim the tree properly so that way the tree can come back healthy. We service anything from residential, single family home all the way up to large HOAs, commercial buildings, whatever the customer has a need for, we can service.
Give Nathan at GoPro a call right now. He'll give you a free estimate. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. Make sure you tell him you heard him on the radio. 954-680-7739.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Hey guys, 10 before 8, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I meant to talk about this yesterday and didn't get to it. Did you hear this story, this about the pastor in drag? Woke pastor held drag queen story hour for kids and said, this is not my words, this is the words of the pastor. Queerness is sacred. He did this in the church from the pulpit, and he dressed up as a woman. Here's the article. An openly gay and newly ordained pastor dressed up to lead a drag queen story hour style message for children, causing outrage from parents on social media. I don't know about the parents at this liberal church. The pastor dressed in full drag, sporting a long white dress with a golden cross, a blonde wig, and full ladies' makeup. The pastor asked the children in attendance if they had ever seen a drag queen before. Oh my goodness, it's like the airplane. Remember an airplane with the captain? You ever seen a grown man naked? Remember that? When the pastor asked the children in attendance if they had ever seen a drag queen before. The kids responded, no. The pastor says, this is true. I have an awesome story to share with you today. I am also a boy most of the time when I'm here, but today I'm a girl. The pastor went on to share the message before ending the segment with a prayer. The announcement on the church page had the announcement, preaching in drag. You know, the churches of America, and I'm not sure what, it doesn't tell me in this story. It's, okay, Lutheran. Oh my goodness, Lutherans. Even Martin Luther would be outraged by this. Okay. Every denomination in this country has a liberal wing and a conservative wing. By the way, the Catholic Church is not a denomination. I'm Catholic. A lot of people think Catholics, that the Catholic Church is a denomination. No, we are the church. What I'm talking about, Baptists, Lutherans, you know, those are denominations. Non-denominational, that's also a denomination, right, in a way. But every church, the Methodist Church, for example, there's a conservative church and a liberal church within the same church. In fact, before my wife and I converted to Catholicism, we were very active in the Methodist Church. And those of you that live in Plantation, my wife and I, this goes back almost 20 years, we were members of the United Methodist Church in Plantation. Very active. I even did the sound for the church services on the weekend, you know, back then. Very active in the church. And when President Bush was in office, President Bush, G.W. Bush, was a Methodist. And the Methodist Bishops Organization condemned him and attacked him. And our pastor had a special meeting at the church telling us, that's the liberal Methodist Church. We're not the liberal Methodist Church, okay? But the Baptist, there's a liberal wing and a conservative wing, okay? So I wouldn't blame the whole Lutheran Church on this, okay? But what would you do if your pastor did this? If you went to church and your pastor did a sermon that was planned and dragged to the children, what would you do? I had something similar happen to me once, similar to this at a church. When my daughter was young, this was a local church here in Boca. This is before we became Catholic. We were looking for a church. It took us a long time to find a church in Boca. When we moved to Palm Beach, we left the Methodist Church in Plantation. We were so active. It took us a long time to find a church here. And we finally did with the Catholic Church. But anyway, my wife was raised, well, I don't want to say the denomination because I don't want to say which church it was in Boca, because this was many years ago and I don't want them to be. But anyway, we went to a church right down the street from where I'm at right now, and we thought, oh wow, this is great. We love this church. This is great. And then I just was doing my show prep before I went on the radio one morning. The youth pastor, who was an associate pastor at the church, was arrested in North Carolina in a men's room. We left the church because we didn't want our daughter taking part in a youth group that was headed by a guy that was arrested in a men's room soliciting sex from an undercover police officer. And what you find, and the reason we did that is because when you're in, you know, like you're seeing at CNN, these guys are in cells, you know. If there's one, there's others. But what would you do in this situation? I'll tell you. But first I'm going to check in with Janet Cimarelli from AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace in Pompano. Is this Janet Cimarelli? I've got, you know, I want to tell you, Janet, I have a full board of calls right now. And there was just something about this line that I thought was you, and I just randomly took it. I might go to the casino and play roulette this weekend. I'm going to bet on Janet. Is that a selection on the roulette wheel?
Something auspicious to tell your listeners about. So today, I usually write the date down and what I
Steve
spoke
Kane
about
Show.
in my little book here when I call in the Steve Kane Show. And
Okay,
so
hold on, Bill.
Today is 12/22/22/21, and it reads both the same way, backwards and forwards. And I know there's a word for that, but I don't know what it is. But yes, because of 12/22/21, you might just make a quick visit to the casino. And if your listeners make a really quick visit into AJ's and they say they're a Steve Kane Show listener, I've got from Xylo White from Now Foods. It's a charcoal refresh toothpaste gel. It's fluoride-free, it's gluten-free, it's paraben-free. It cleanses, whitens, and it really tastes fabulous. So people who might be saying, oh, charcoal toothpaste, I don't know if I want to be putting charcoal on my teeth, but what's really interesting is charcoal does a fabulous whitening situation with your teeth, and it's got all fabulously good ingredients, nothing negative. And so it's a $7 value, free to the Steve Kane listeners who just come on into AJ's and say, I listen to the Steve Kane Show, and I heard you talking about charcoal refresh. And so that's my story for today.
Okay, yeah, and you know, Janet Cimarelli, she's co-owner with her partner Anita of AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. Janet introduced me and Steve Kane both to nutraceuticals, to supplements in 1998. A lot of people think it was the late great Barry from Barry's Vitamins, which is no more. No, before that, it was Janet Cimarelli introduced us to it. And, you know, Janet Cimarelli is a licensed nutritionist who is available for free consultations. You can even bring in your blood work, and she'll go over your blood work with you. And, you know, that's important. You know, people go into vitamin shops. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're buying. Maybe you need this, but maybe a supplement you've already taken covers that. Maybe you got an issue. You know, Janet can help you with all of that. She's one of the most well-known people in the nutraceutical industry in all of South Florida, and certainly the most knowledgeable I've ever known. And AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace in Pompano, very easy to find. The Festival Marketplace, just immediately east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample. AJ's inside, very easy to find. Go in the main entrance, walk back towards the food court. Right before the food court, look to the west. You see the information booth? AJ's is right across from there. Now, if you want to see Janet for a no-charge private consultation, they do ask that you make an appointment. And you can do that in person, but you can do it on the phone, too, before you go. They open up at 10 a.m., 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851. What's the holiday schedule at AJ's, Janet?
Christmas Eve till 5 o'clock, and Christmas Day they are open. The festival.
Get out of town.
It's open. I am not getting out of town.
Wow.
A&M Festival. And they may close a little bit early. Usually they're open till 6 on Saturday and Sunday, but Christmas Day, this Saturday, 5 o'clock, but 10 to 5, Christmas Day. So if you need some very, very special attention on Christmas Day, AJ's is there.
Wow, open Christmas Day. All right, 954-317-1851. That's AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. All right, Janet Cimarelli, we will talk tomorrow. All right, take care. All right, back right after this for the third and final hour of today's show.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now.
All right, 2 minutes after 8, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. So let me finish. So this Lutheran priest, does the Lutheran Church have priests? They call them priests, don't they? Aren't they fathers? They have the pastor. I'm not sure if it's pastor or priest. I think you call them father. I don't know. Somebody let me know. Is it a priest or a pastor at the Lutheran Church? I do not know. But this Lutheran pastor gave a sermon from the pulpit to the children in full drag. And I'd asked, what would you do? And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. What would you do if that was your pastor? When our youth pastor from this church that we went to was arrested in the men's room soliciting sex from a man, we left that church. We didn't want to be there because I told my wife, well, they fired the youth pastor, but those kind of guys, there's always more than one. Look what's going on at CNN, and we didn't want our daughter in that kind of environment. But in a situation like this, you of course you want to pray for the pastor. I mean, this is just inappropriate and wrong, and you certainly don't want to raise your kids at a church that is telling you that's doing crazy things like this. I mean, this is insane. I would leave the church. I would leave that church. I don't mean that if I were Lutheran, I don't mean I would stop going to Lutheran churches, but I wouldn't go to that one because that's very weird. But what I would probably do is contact the bishop. And the bishop these days in the Lutheran church could also be gay and think that it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I would go to the bishop. I'd go to the cardinal. That's the kind of thing that I would take a stand on and get involved in at the church. I'd like to know what you guys would do. But there's, every church, there's a liberal branch and a conservative branch. This is obviously the liberal branch. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good.
From California.
Hey, California, can you put your mouth up closer to the phone? I know it's early in California.
Yeah, I got my earplugs in. I got a comment about Fauci on I went back and listened to what he had to say about Fauci, and what I gather is Fauci's probably mad because he's more or less Jesse's calling him more or less a liar and trying to tie him on into this COVID.
Well, I don't think so. Okay. Now, you watched the video. Jesse Waters was not his normal self during that presentation, was it? Wasn't he a little strange compared to how you normally see him?
Yeah.
It was a little weird. It was the crowd. It's having the audience. It was, I think he was a little nervous too. What Jesse Waters did was fine. Okay? What he did was fine. What he was doing, Jesse Waters, is what Andrew Breitbart used to tell people about. And he was telling these young, Turning Point USA is college and high school conservatives. He was telling them how to become citizen journalists, just like Andrew Breitbart used to tell people to do. And he said, when Fauci comes to your town, confront him with questions. And he was explaining to them how to ask leading questions that leave him in a position where he can't give you a good answer. That no matter what answer he gives at the end, he'll look like a fool. He used some terminology that is ill-advised at the end. And Fauci has called for him to be fired on the spot by Fox News. I think he may be in trouble because they just sidelined Laura Logan because of Fauci. But, yeah, I know. They did it. I love Laura Logan, and she's a sex assault survivor. And they're treating her this way.
I was going to say, you remember when Fauci used to come out with Trump with his news press conference thing?
Yeah.
I first listened to him on those conferences. Trump ought to get rid of him because all he is negative.
I was hoping Trump fired him before he left office, but what Jesse and what I'm going to tell you, I am not being funny. This is not a joke, okay, what I'm about to tell you. Because some people might think I'm being petty and making a joke. Fauci is, this is crazy, but I believe Fauci is the most powerful person in the world, and he has been for the past 2 years. He has changed the entire culture of the world. He has changed the behavior of every human being on this planet, okay, with his edicts and things. That's a fact. And he, believe me, he feels very powerful. But he's got a Napoleon complex. And what Jesse Waters did that pissed off Fauci, he was, the first thing he did, he was standing next to his podium, and he says, go up to Fauci, and he's about the same height as this podium. And then he went through everything else. That's what pissed off Fauci. The comment he made about his height, I know it seems, I'm not kidding, that was like, you know, that hit Fauci. That's what he's pissed off about. And what this is, what I'm telling you is, this is a test to Fox News. Jesse Waters is the number 2 personality on Fox News. Number 1 is Tucker. This is my opinion. Number 1 is Tucker. Number 2 is Jesse Waters. If they get rid of Jesse Waters, I'm out, except for Tucker. I'm out. But they sidelined Laura Logan 3 weeks ago over a comment she made about Fauci.
Other sort of people have complexes, so they get mad very easily because they're, you know.
Yeah, but he is a powerful person, not just because of all the influence he's had in the last 2 years. He's had this job in the federal government for 35 years. He's like J. Edgar Hoover. You don't stay in a job like that for all those years, for over 3 decades, without having a lot of power, influence, and clout in Washington. So I don't like him. You don't like him. Nobody likes him. Nobody liked Hoover either. But he's connected, he's powerful, and he's got more influence than you realize. That's why I'm saying Jesse Waters is in trouble. Jesse Waters did nothing wrong. Should have chose his phrases better and he wouldn't be jammed up. He did nothing wrong. What he did was fine. But Fauci has a lot of power and influence, unfortunately.
Well, you know, you tied up with all the experiments around the world with dogs.
I know. Well, and look, nothing happens. The one with the kids in New York, there was one with the kids in New York that came out. Nothing happens to this guy. And, you know, somebody just said in my chat, well, Laura Logan doesn't have the number 1 show like Jesse. What about Bill O'Reilly? They canned Bill O'Reilly like that just because somebody made a comment off, you know, no. They got rid of Bill O'Reilly. And Chris Wallace had a lot of influence over there too. And you know, I hope nothing happens to Jesse Waters. But I'm telling you, he's regretting what he said in private, Jesse Waters, today.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, thanks for the call. I'll give you the last word on your bad connection.
Okay.
Okay is his last word, I guess. Okay. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea, what's up?
So, speaking as somebody before I was red-pilled, I lived in a uber liberal town, right, where the majority of the people are drag queens. And, you know, they're fluid. They're gender fluid. So they could be a guy one day and then a girl. And I used to actually help do makeup on the drag queens and do their hair and stuff like that.
Were they pastors at local churches like this guy?
No.
Okay.
General.
Yeah.
They were just in general performers. However, it's a very big push to have Drag Queen Story Hour in all the local libraries. Now, since and Red Pill, I'm now standing up against the people who are...
You know, that's fun. What state are you in? You're in Pennsylvania, and that's a funny thing because I've seen here in South Florida Drag Queen Storytime advertised at libraries. That must be a national thing, Drag Queen Storytime.
It is. It is a national thing. So when I confront who I thought were my friends now at Drag Queen Story Hour, I asked them, what is the purpose of this? Because this is adult entertainment. So what is your goal exposing little children to this? What is the goal? And just like Greg too said about Mike, they have no answers, only name calling. Now, in my opinion, and I'm not a parent, I have it out with the parents who are subjecting their children to this. If I were in that church and saw that, there should be an uprising in that church to have this man removed.
Now, let me tell you, as conservative as I am, I got no problem with the gays. You know, I've got gay people in my family, and someone in my immediate family. You know, so I'm very tolerant with all that stuff. But here's the deal, okay? When it comes to the drag queen, you're talking about young kids. They're too young. You're talking about drag queen story time. The kids are too young to understand drag queen story time. Okay, they're too. It's confusing.
I don't go to drag. When they do drag shows, sometimes I go. I don't have a problem with drag queens. I don't have a problem with whatever you want to do. I have a problem with exposing young children to this because young children, all they care about is playing with their friends and going to school. I cannot understand what the end game is, but I have a feeling it's a very dangerous end game.
Well, I mean, look how many gay people there are now. When you and I were growing up, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but when you and I were growing up, you didn't, you know, there weren't that many gay kids around. Now, it's not even controversial. It's controversial for a kid to tell their parents they're straight and dating somebody of the opposite sex. That's the controversy now. So that's the end game. Now, this thing with the church, you know, this is inappropriate. Beyond imagination to have the pastor in drag at a church doing story time from the pulpit. I mean, this is just not. I mean, they should lose whatever they do. You know, in the Lutheran Church, it should be done. That's just wrong. And you know what's happened is liberals have hijacked a lot of sectors of society, activists, and one of them is our churches. You know, and it's about indoctrination is what it's about, and that's, you know, and I know people say, oh, the Catholic Church with all the priest problems, that's why Pope Benedict stepped down. Okay, we have two popes now. Pope Benedict's still alive, and he hasn't been pope for years, right? The scandal is one of the reasons he's retired. The Catholic Church has the priest problem for two reasons. One, you're seeing this at CNN with this creep. Now there's two creeps, right? These types of people, so they're in cells. They operate in cells. They bring in other people like that. That's why and that's one reason the Catholic Church has such a problem. The other one is this, and I think I'm sure I've said this before on the air. A lot of guys that are gay priests that run into trouble. Most priests that I've known have grown up in the church, lifelong Catholics. In fact, every priest I've ever met, lifelong Catholic, grew up in the church. A lot of guys that are gay and are struggling with it, that grow up in the church, becoming a priest is the perfect job for them, right? There's no expectation for family. There's no expectation for marriage. So, and so a lot of them become priests because they're struggling with it. They don't want to be gay, they're gay, they become a priest, and then they get jammed up. So those are the two main reasons you have the problems in the church.
My whole thing is, if you want to dress in drag, That is totally cool with me. I do not like what is going on with regard to the children. And you know what? In the Bible, Jesus flipped tables 72 times. If this starts to become a tolerated thing in the church, you can pretty much
kiss the church goodbye. Well, somebody like this, church is for sinners, preaching to the choir. Jesus surrounded himself with sinners, but repentant. Okay? People looking for salvation. What you're having people that are doing sinful things that have made their ways into leadership positions in our churches. And they're at the pulpit telling us that these are not sins, and that it's okay. And that's wrong. I'd get the hell out of that church. But like I say, if you went to the Lutheran bishop, the bishop, there's 50-50 chance is a lesbian, the bishop of that, of that church. So you're not going to find any recourse there.
I don't care what adults do. I truly do not.
Well, I care because adults can do a lot of things that are criminal. I care. I'm not a blanket. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want to hold a drag show and it's for adults and you want to get your dollars and do your thing, that I don't care about. But I do care when you're sitting down.
What's the name of the oh, never mind. I got that. Okay, let me ask you a question here. I got to take a break. Okay, let me ask you a question. Who is worse? Okay. This Lutheran pastor that I'm talking about that's in the news today doing story time in drag from the pulpit, that's one. Or Joel Osteen?
Oh, man. Well, and this is the reason for my answer. I'm going to say the Lutheran pastor because he's subjecting small children. Now, Joel Osteen is a whole different type of...
I think Joel Osteen's a fraud. I think he's a con man fraud.
They found money in the wall.
Yeah, in the bathroom, behind the urinal. Yeah, been missing for years.
Oh, is that a thing? Like, how does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who's the other one that's going around? The old-time TV guy with the plane in the mansion that's always in the news. I can't remember his name. He's one of the old guys who was on TV for 100 years. He's still around. You know who I'm talking about? He's another piece of work. There's a lot of con men priests. I would say, obviously are all sins equal and everything. I would say Joel Osteen's worse. Drag queen story time here was with a handful of kids. Joel Osteen, his church, it's like going to Disney World. You go to that church. Mega church doesn't even begin to explain it. Now, I think Joel Osteen's not good. Not good at all. Hey, listen, is it Schumer with the plane that's always in the news who gets in fights with people when they ask about it? Is it I can't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, the religion is the next frontier, and that's what you're starting to witness.
Yeah. My wife and I have not been to Mass since the pandemic, and we've been talking about going, but I'm not sure about taking communion.
Too, Brian, the reason why they don't want people gathering and talking. And that's really the main reason for, like, these restrictions. They don't want people gathering.
That's right. Yeah, they want us away from our churches. You know I'll tell you who my favorite preacher is, though. The one that my wife and I too. I went and saw them in person once at their church. Stanley, the Baptist minister. Yeah. Oh man, he's the best. All right. Oh yeah, Kenneth Copeland, I think, is the guy with the plane. Charles Stanley out of Atlanta. My wife and I love Charles Stanley, and we went to service with him once in the front row. It was pretty cool. He's on TV all the time. You'd recognize Charles Stanley. I think he's the best. All right. Appreciate the call, Andrea. Take care. We're going to take our first break of the last hour of the Wednesday edition of Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Back right after this.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for the brakes. And that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He said, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up in the lift, pulled the wheels, says, you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow, well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely.
Charles Stanley's awesome. Charles Stanley's awesome.
Now, this is our new
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yeah, we get the Charles Stanley thing in the mail, and my wife always watching Charles Stanley. His son's a little strange.
Because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack, they're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive.
Charles Stanley almost got thrown out of his own church because his wife left him. He didn't divorce his wife or have infidelity, but his wife left him, and they almost threw him out of his own church, Charles Stanley.
Immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Hey guys, we're back 24 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You know, the Pentagon yesterday, they've announced their new guidelines they have, cracking down on what they're calling domestic radicalism inside the ranks. And now the military, you know, the military, they I don't know, it's the very woke military with General Milli Vanilli, no doubt about that. But our military, they're on and it's with General Milli Vanilli and this fool, incompetent defense secretary we have. They want to rid the military of anyone who's conservative. They're calling them radicals, and they're using January 6th to do this. And now they're talking about they're doing this purge with the mandate. That's starting to happen. Now you can be separated from the military, and I don't know if it'll be honorable or not, based on likes on Facebook posts and retweets and things. I'm pretty active on social media. You got to be these days, right? I retweet and tweet things all the time that I don't agree with. My Twitter is my stack of stuff, right? If I'm, I read news on my computer or on my phone or my iPad, and I'll tweet an article that I think I'm going to talk about on the radio or on my podcast or something. And sometimes, like yesterday, I had an article, I can't remember what it was about, I was reading to you guys from Huffington Post. So I tweeted an article from the Huffington Post. I'll retweet liberals. I retweeted something from Joy Reid the other day. And what I do is I go through my Twitter feed, and that's my stack of stuff. I used to, before all that, I used to print the articles up, you know, on the computer. Oh my gosh, we went through so much paper and ink. And before that, we had to go use newspapers because we were on the air here on the Steve Kane Show before the internet. But I regularly retweet and tweet things that are liberal. It doesn't, because you retweet or tweet something is not an endorsement of the content. Sometimes people they'll read something on Twitter and they'll like it, kind of just as an acknowledgement, on Facebook too, as an acknowledgement that they read it. And the purge of the left. See, this fits into what I was telling you about Jesse Waters. We're not in a free country today. We're not. We're an oppressed people right now. And what they do is, if I'm reading an article and I retweet it, or an article comes up that somebody else tweeted, and I like the article or I retweet the article, the person that sent the original tweet, all of a sudden, I am responsible morally for everything they've done in their life. If I retweet or like a tweet from someone, anything they have ever done or said, you're accountable for today. Sometimes people on social media, I see this on Twitter, they'll say, tweets, retweets, and likes do not equal endorsements, right? And what you have here by the left is textbook fascism, socialism, communism. You are guilty by association. In Nazi Germany, in the Soviet Union, and in Fidel Castro's Cuba, okay, even in Cuba today, because it's still a communist dictatorship, it wasn't just illegal to speak about the government. You could be sent to the gulag or a concentration camp, not even if you didn't speak out against the government, but you heard someone speak out against the government and didn't turn them in. Gulags, concentration camps, and Cuban prisons are filled with people that didn't say anything against the government but heard someone say something or were suspected of hearing it and didn't turn them in. That's a fact. And we're in that world right now. And when I was growing up, the liberals always talking about the Red Scare, the Red Scare. And you see those old things, did you not in 1936 attend a meeting of the Communist Party of da-da-da-da-da? And sometimes someone would say, some friend of mine invited me out to a bar. I didn't know it was going to be a communist meeting at the bar. I just thought there was going to be free drinks. All of a sudden, you're at a meeting. And then you're blacklisted. And what the liberals have done, the Democrats have brought back a new blacklist. And that's what we're talking about now. And they're doing it inside the military. In fact, even during the Red Scare, 10,000 or whatever the number was of card-carrying communists inside the army or whatever, whatever Joe McCarthy said. This is a modern-day McCarthyism. And it's more relevant to the witch hunts. Remember, the Crucible, like the Matrix is about the Democrats, the Crucible, I think they probably don't teach this in school anymore, but the Crucible is about the Red Scare, okay? And I took an entire class in college on the witch hunts of Europe and America. It was fascinating class, one of the most interesting classes I ever took in college. And, and you guys know the story, I don't have to tell you. They needed no evidence. Just the girls had to say, you were a witch, and that was it, you were done. In Europe, 80,000 women were killed as witches in Europe. And a lot of researchers have gone back and found out that most of the accusers during the European witch hunts were either the daughter-in-law or the mistress who would accuse the wife of being a witch to get her out of the picture. They needed no evidence. That's how it is today. And they're doing this in the military. Modern day Red Scare, modern day McCarthyism, and it's happening all over the place. I was watching Greg Kelly last night, and Greg Kelly used an analogy that I've used on this program many times about the cancel culture in the big tech. A lot of people, like the great Mike Lindell, and many others, the president, Trump, right? They've been banished from all these social media platforms because the people that invented them don't like them. Because the people that invented them don't agree with them. So they can't use their inventions, the Twitter, the Facebook, whatever it is. And Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax used a comparison I've used many times. He said, could you imagine if Alexander Graham Bell, when he invented the telephone, started taking telephones away from people he didn't like? Well, I don't like your politics. I'm Alexander Graham Bell. I invented the telephone. No telephone for you. I don't know if Graham Bell was a Republican or a Democrat. He was a businessman, I'm assuming a Republican. I could be wrong. But could you imagine if Alexander Graham Bell took a telephone away, started taking telephones away from millions of people around the world because you might be talking about liberal politics. No phone for you. What would they have done? They would have taken the company away from him. Or Thomas Edison, right? Thomas Edison. No light bulb for you because you might be talking about things that I don't agree with. I don't like your politics. I'm assuming Edison was a Republican. Post-Civil War and all that. I don't know. Maybe he was a Democrat. But you're a Democrat and you're going to be talking about your Democrat things at night with my light. No light bulb for you. Oil lamps and candles is what you're going to use. I don't like... What would they have done to Thomas? It's crazy. It is insane. We have these inventors saying, we don't like you and we don't agree with you, so we're taking the invention away from you that we made. This era will be written about. We're going to write it out now. We're going to write it about, but people will write and talk about the things that I'm talking about right here, right now. I don't think a lot of people have realized it because we're in the middle of it. This is what I was talking about with Fauci and Jesse Waters, and what Jesse Waters is doing. Jesse Waters is about to be brought before the committee of unliberal-like activities, and they're going to decide if what he said was too far. MSNBC Primetime did a story on the Jesse Waters-Fauci thing. CNN did it too, several times yesterday. Frightening times, people. Frightening times. And there's only one man who can get us out of it. And he's at Mar-a-Lago right now, and his name is President Trump. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That is our number. It is a toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. Don't go anywhere. Back right after this.
Hi, Tom LaPorta here from LaPorta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. LaPorta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. LaPorta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call LaPorta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at LaPortaContracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. I just love Dr. Gupta. I've been seeing him for around 3 years. He always has time for me. He never does unnecessary work, and his prices are very affordable. And if you need implants, go see him because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. 212-4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the
The
best.
Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back. By the way, we're going to be here live all this week and all next week. Okay? Just so you know, we'll be live all this week and next week. Just so you know. I got to talk to you guys, though, about Dr. Mitch Matez. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is amazing. It will change your life. I've been a patient of Dr. Mitch Matez for 5 years when I turned 45. And hormone replacement pellet therapy is amazing. Part of the aging process is that your body produces fewer hormones. And what hormone replacement pellet therapy does is what it says. Hormone replacement replaces those hormones that you're losing. It's completely 100% natural. They're tiny little pellets that are about the size of a grain of rice before you add water to it. And Dr. Matez over at the Biostation, he's a maestro when it comes to this, completely painless, and boom, it'll change your life. You get your energy back. You get your sex drive back. You will. It takes years off of you. And women, not only are all of the signs and symptoms of menopause stopped, they're reversed. Mood swings gone. Vaginal dryness gone. You get your sex drive back too. If you're suffering from hair loss, the hair loss will stop. The hair you have left will grow back thicker and fuller in both men and women. It's a life changer. And I was telling Steve yesterday, before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy, before is Biden, after is Trump. And you've heard me talk about listeners I've met. I've met listeners before, both men and women, before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez. They're all like Biden before. And he has patients in their late 20s and 30s, all the way up into their 90s. It helps with cognition too, restore your cognitive abilities. But I meet these guys, they're like, and women, they're like Biden. They come to an appearance, hey Brian, Steve, I've been listening for 15 years. And then I'll see them after they start hormone replacement pellet therapy. They're standing tall. Hey Brian, good to meet you. I saw you over at Wings Plus last time. It'll change your life. Now listen, for listeners of the Steve Kane Show, it is a completely free consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez. And if you're not in town, give them a call. They may be able to help you too. Completely free consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation. Here's the number, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. Toll-free call. I'm sorry, totally free consultation. It's not a free call, it's a free consultation. People that come in from outside the show, they have to pay for that consultation. But not listeners of the Steve Kane Show. Completely free consultation. 561-320-8893. All right, now, President Trump made an announcement yesterday that when this happens, the entire left and the media are going to have complete freak-out meltdowns. Now, I mean, I was shocked when I heard this announcement yesterday. In fact, when I first saw it on Twitter, I thought, oh, this is fake news, because President Trump's back at it. And this is what I would consider to be maybe the unofficial, or maybe we'll get lucky in the official launch of his campaign. On January 6th, President Trump is going to have a press conference at Mar-a-Lago. Whew. On January 6th of all days. And he's going to be addressing major issues. Oh, man. Now, the media on that day are going to be carrying the live event that Pelosi is planning, whatever that is, which is just going to be very overly dramatic and everything else. And regular people will not be allowed nearby because they don't want to have an incident like the other day with the Let's Go Brandon thing happened to her. So the mainstream corporate media are not going to carry the Trump press conference. And I don't know. Do you think Fox News will carry the Trump press conference at Mar-a-Lago on January 6th? If I were to guess, I would say no. And by carrying it, I don't mean a little box at the bottom right of the screen where you can't hear anything and they're monitoring. I mean live. I don't think they'll carry it live. Newsmax TV, I think, will. And I guess One American News too, but I don't have One American News anymore. That is Trump is back, yes. That is the kind of outside-the-box work that made President Trump the president. I mean, that is a bold move like I have never seen anyone do before, of all days, January 6th, because, you know, CNN, they hired that cop with that big tattoo on his neck as a, you know, the Capitol cop with the big, you know which one I'm talking about? CNN hired him right, and to start next month for the January 6th festivities that they plan on having. This event that Pelosi is planning is supposedly very big and dramatic. We don't have the details of it yet, although they said that members of Congress, and I'm assuming staff, will be able to speak and share their experiences from that day. So they got a whole thing planned, and then President Trump does this on that same day. Woo! The media and the Democrats, they're going to pretend that it's not happening. You know, and maybe his Truth Social will be going then. I'm sure maybe it's coming at the beginning of the year, so I don't know. But that is an amazing, it's going to cause a meltdown. You know, these people already have stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome, but a lot of their Trump derangement's been in remission because President Trump hasn't been on the scene. But this is, you know, President Trump's done a lot of amazing things. This event, his January 6th Mar-a-Lago press conference, oh man, that'll be as bold as when he had that press conference right before the debate with Hillary with Paula Jones, Juanita Broderick. Who else was there? Kathleen Willey, and the woman who Hillary Clinton represented, her rapist when she was raped as a little girl. Remember that? This is even bigger than that. This is probably the ballsiest thing. This is probably the ballsiest thing President Trump has ever done. That takes to do a press conference on that day, and you know, see the media. He's so smart, isn't he? I mean, he's very smart. We know this, but he's amazing, President Trump. No one would have the guts to do that other than President Trump, because what they plan on doing is using that day to have some kind of public indictment of President Trump. Pelosi and the media want to spend that day blaming Trump for those actions, which is absurd. I was reading a story today. They're talking about RICO charges against people that invited people to the Trump rally in Washington that day because they profited from it or something. I don't know what that means. You know, but that, yeah, I know. It is brilliant. It's going to be exciting. And what day of the week is the 6th? Is that I think that's a Thursday. And at first I was like, oh, I wish it was on the weekend. Yeah, it's on a Thursday, January 6th. But I'm really glad it's happening on a Thursday, because then Friday, here on this program, as well as the rest of the world, will have Friday to process it. So it'll be Thursday, January 6th. We're going to have dueling event, President Trump's press conference. And the more that the media try not to cover it, the more it's going to get covered. So then we'll be processing it on Friday. Oh, man. You know, I almost think he's doing that for us here. I mean, think about that. What an exciting show that's going to be. Friday, January 7th, the day after President Trump's Mar-a-Lago January 6th press conference. Oh, my goodness. Woo. That's going to be a hot show. I can't wait for it. All right, we're going to take our last break of the day. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back right after this with the Gold Report.
Suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic
Hey there.
shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Listen to the Steve Kane on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 46 minutes after the hour, it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Good. How are the metals looking today?
Metals looking good. The market's been holding very nicely around that $1,790 price for gold, even though we do have resistance at $1,800. We keep venturing above that. Yesterday we saw gold get up to $1,801 and trade in a range from $1,784 to $1,801. Closing out today at $1,789.10. That was down $2.20. Silver's been gaining momentum, up 23 cents yesterday at $22.49. Platinum closed unchanged at $9.35. And palladium was up $45 at $1,735. This morning gold is higher. Up $3.50 right now at $1,792.60 the ounce. Silver up another 11 cents at $22.60, while platinum is up $5 at $940, and palladium is up $36 at $17.71. Oil holding stubbornly above that $71 a barrel price, which of course is inflationary, and we continue to watch the U.S. dollar to see if we can, if that starts to break lower, we'll see a real run in the price.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Now, of course, I know most of you guys out there haven't done your Christmas shopping yet. What kind of things do you have over there so far as jewelry items go at William Youngerman's that are great Christmas gifts?
Yeah, we have wonderful bracelets, necklaces, earrings, really terrific items for the men to come in and take advantage of a last-minute Christmas shopping for wives. That's really terrific.
Can you talk a little bit about the price? Because you really have great prices on your jewelry. Can you tell people about that just a little bit?
Sure. Well, we've been buying estates for many, many years, and we basically the stuff that is not nice, not perfect, or anything, we just send to the melting pot. But the stuff that's good quality and remains very nice to wear, like new condition, we then keep it for our listeners, Steve Kane listeners, and our customers to take advantage of the tremendous things you get when you can buy the jewelry for just the metal cost.
Just the metal cost. Oh my goodness, holy smokes! Yeah, that's right. And William Youngerman's in Boca, so you know in Palm Beach and Boca, you know the estates that are coming around, or you know who lives in those areas. All right, now here's the number. They open up at 10. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. The address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow. All right, take care. Wow. Yeah, exciting stuff. And I've talked to several people recently that have bought some jewelry and things over there, and they are very, very pleased. You know, this very strange lady who's the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Beetlejuice, what's her real Lightfoot? And she made a big announcement. Your time is up. Far-left Democrat mayor threatens the unvaccinated. So they're coming in. Time is up. If you're unvaccinated, you're going to have to be vaccinated to take part in anything public in Chicago. Whole list of restrictions come out. You know, why do you think it is, and a serious question, this is not a rhetorical question, why do you think it is that Lori Lightfoot and the other Democrats never say, your time is up, gangbangers, your time is up, drug dealers, your time is up, murderers. You do crime, you got a gun illegally, you shoot someone, you're dealing drugs, you're going away for... I've never heard your time's up to the killers and drug dealers of Chicago, ever, from these people. that run Chicago, the Democrats. Never. But the unvaccinated, you know, and let me tell you, the way things are, a gangbanger is less likely to get jammed up than an unvaccinated person in Chicago. I don't understand that. I really don't. You know, like Black Lives Matter, okay? We know what Black Lives Matter is. They're just a tool of the Democrat Party. But if Black Lives Matter really cared about what their mission statement says, seems like they care about being in the real estate business because a lot of their leadership have very expensive homes and multiple homes. But there's no better place for Black Lives Matter to accomplish their mission of saving black lives than going to Chicago and demanding an end to the violence up there. I've never heard such strong words from any Democrat mayor in Chicago as they're having for the unvaccinated. I don't understand the misplaced priority there. I really don't. I mean, you know, it doesn't make sense to me, and it's really sad. You know, it's really sad. And a lot of people say, well, why do people live in Chicago? It's because they don't know another way. They don't know another way. That's all they know. Now, I heard word yesterday that we may tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, get word from Dan Bongino about whether or not he's going to continue his radio show. You know, he's been battling with Cumulus for a while over the mandate requirements over there. You know, and Dan Bongino was fully vaccinated, but he's been taking a stand against the mandates over there, and we may get an announcement from him as early as tomorrow about that. I hope he doesn't leave that radio show. Because if he leaves that radio show, some vanilla, never-Trumper, fake Republican is going to take over. It's not going to be Mark Levin. And he's an important voice to have over there. So I hope he can work it out with them. But we'll find out. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Laurel Springs. I seen a commercial. This is my beef. I seen a commercial on TV the other day, and all it said was, it showed all about Black Lives Matter, but it said no lives matter until the Black Lives Matter.
You saw that on television?
It matter. Yes, it was a commercial, and it really bothered me, and I just figured I'd call and explain it to you.
Well, the deal is black liberals are racist. I mean, you know, I remember when Hillary was running against Trump, that Tim Kaine was her running mate. He's a senator, but he was running for vice president. He was speaking at the Urban League, and he said, "Black lives matter, all lives matter." But he said Black lives matter, all lives matter. They booed him, and then they booed him off stage. And later that day, he apologized for saying all lives matter.
Like all the old TV shows.
It's frightening.
No, this was shocking.
Well, it's sad. It's sad because, you know, people that are racist, and a lot of people don't understand what I mean by this, and maybe I don't articulate it well, but people that are racist don't believe they're racist. They don't say, I'm just a bigot. I hate white people. I hate black people. You know, they don't say that. They just think that they see reality. You know, and what you have with a lot of liberal blacks is decades and years of brainwashing. You know, there was a great movie with Ed Norton many years ago in the 90s called American History X, and he was a skinhead, and there's this scene in the movie with Elliot Gould, and he's just going on about saying all these terribly racist things. And Elliot Gould says to his mother, he's lost. He's lost. His mind's gone. You know, and he got brainwashed by his father, and that's what's happened. And this Black Lives Matter, it's sad to me. And I don't get angry about it as much as I feel I'm worried about our country with that type of mindset.
Right, when I start seeing ads like that going up, I'm thinking, what are the children who are watching this now thinking?
Well, that's what critical race theory is about, because critical race theory, which was born out of this Black Lives Matter movement, says not only are all white people racist, that white people are born racist. That a baby just out of the womb genetically is a racist. It doesn't get more racist than that when you say that people are genetically racist. I mean, what you're dealing with is you're dealing. It's like that's what the Ku Klux Klan used to say about blacks.
Yeah, anyone who says anything different, everyone is just. I think we're all equal, and that's the way it should.
Well, you know that Steve and I, because we have interracial families, we have certain protections. I mean, calling us racist is just stupid. We have interracial families. Most people don't have that, and you know. I remember we had Bernard Goldberg on the show once, and he said the worst thing you can say to a white liberal is you're a racist. And you tell a white liberal they're racist, they fall down on the floor, they curl up in a fetal position, start whining, crying like a baby, and beg for your forgiveness. You know, and that's, you know, that it's the left. The reason you're seeing more of it is because so many minorities have gone to the Republicans because of Trump. There's a poll today that shows that Republicans and President Trump have more Hispanic support than even Joe Biden and the Democrats today, which doesn't make sense to the Democrats. And, you know, we've gained a lot of black support because of Trump and the Republican Party. So what the Democrats are doing, Rush Limbaugh used to talk about the Democrats have that old playbook that they always pull out. They pulled out the racial division. And they're trying to cause racial divisions to try to bring blacks back home to the Democrat Party and vote for them. That's why you're seeing more and more of it. Yeah. Hey, listen, I got to run, but thanks for the call. Oh, man, from Coral Springs. All right, guys, take care. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Keep an eye out. I got a new podcast coming up today. If you follow me on YouTube, you can catch my podcast as well as on most podcast platforms, the Brian Craig Show podcast. I hope Steve will be back tomorrow. He's been under the weather the past few days. But until 6 a.m. tomorrow, have a great day. I'll see you then.
Actually have the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, which is 50%.
Well, hey guys, thanks everyone for joining in and tuning in. Before you go, make sure you like the video, okay? Like the video. If you're new, subscribe. And Andrea, $5 super chat. Thank you. I want to thank Andrea. The Daily Wire posted an article about a toy that teaches witchcraft to children. Available on Amazon, Magic Mixies. I saw that story. Yeah. All right, guys, I got to run, but thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Look out for